Hello everyone, I'm your host Mariana and you're listening to A Degree Farther, the official podcast of the graduate school at Hood College, where we feature current students, alumni and faculty who are innovators on our campus and in our community. Hi everyone, welcome back to a new episode of A Degree Farther, the third episode of our fall semester. And today we are joined by Calli Onest, an aspiring infectious disease researcher whose journey embodies curiosity, dedication, and purpose. After earning her biology degree from Kent State University, Callie came to Hood College to pursue her master's in biomedical science, an experience that strengthened her confidence as a researcher, refined her lab skills, and set the stage for her next big step, a Ph.D. With experience spanning both clinical and commercial biology, Callie is passionate about using science to improve global health outcomes. Beyond the lab, she calls Maryland home, where she lives with her cat, Turnip, and her lizard, Sherman. Stay tuned as we talk with Callie about her graduate experience at Hood, her passion for research, and the ways she's preparing to take her scientific journey a degree further. Enjoy it! Hello everyone, welcome back to a new episode of A Degree Farther. Today we are with Calli Onest. Hello Callie, thank you for being here today. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mariana, and thanks for inviting me. I'm really excited to talk about the Biomedical Sciences Master's Program at Hood and my experience.
Thank you. I am so excited too. I think you are one of the first guests that we have to talk about that. So I'm so excited to learn from you too. And we can start by that, by if you can introduce yourself, tell me a little bit about your background experience and what inspired you to pursue a master's degree in biomedical science.
Sure. So I graduated from Kent State University in Kent, Ohio, with a bachelor's degree in biology in 2023. And I've been interested in biology ever since I was in high school. I've always wanted to pursue a career in research and eventually obtain a PhD. But life and the pandemic happening in the middle of my undergraduate education kind of made my education a bit rocky, and I couldn't delve as deep into biology as I wanted to. I got research experience as an undergrad in plant biology and soil science, but I was always interested in more of the medical side of science and biology. So when I graduated, I wanted to get more research experience and more coursework in the biomedical sciences before I applied to PhD programs. And I was looking into master's programs and I found Hood, and price was a big factor for me. If you compare the tuition to a lot of other biomedical science programs, Hood is extremely affordable. And there's a lot of opportunities in and around Frederick, where Hood College is located. You have the Frederick National Lab, Fort Detrick, the National Cancer Institute, National Institute of Health. So there's a lot of opportunities out here. And so that's why I decided to move from Ohio to Maryland and start my master's degree at Hood.
Wow, nice. That was a big step for you, big change.
Yeah, you could say I moved to Maryland for Hood.
That's amazing. And how was your experience at the program?
So I really enjoyed just how small the class sizes were. Hood College is a pretty small school in general. The campus is small, and it really allows the passion that the professors have for the field to shine through. In the biomedical sciences program, everyone takes four introductory courses. You take protein biochemistry, molecular biology of eukaryotic cells, introduction to bioinformatics, and cell structure and function. And these classes give you a really well rounded but deep set of knowledge to set you up for success in the program. And every single professor in these classes was really fantastic at making sure they catch you up with what it means to be a graduate student and take classes at the graduate level. And they're all very passionate. And I think that's something that really sticks with you at Hood is they are experts in their field and they really love to teach. They love what they do. And that's really inspiring and it makes you learn a lot more.
I agree. I also want to add that last week I had to go to Hudson to the building of science, and it's amazing. It was my first time there, and it has amazing things like beautiful like setups and classrooms and labs. And I was like, I want to study biology. Like it's a great, great, great building.
Yeah, and most of your classes are in that building. And it's also nice because if you do need to pop in and talk to a professor, they're all centered like right down the hall. So professors are really easy to find. And so I think that the location's really good. Location's a big factor too. It's easy to get to, easy to find parking, easy to find your classes and the professors. So I think graduate school's hard enough, but just those like little things to make your life easier is also a really positive factor about Hood.
Hmm. Did you have any lab experience or research project that was meaningfully or transformative for your professional and personal life?
Yeah, so I would say the most difficult things tend to be the most transformative, and that was definitely true for me. Um, Introduction to Bioinformatics was the most difficult course that I took, but I learned so much that is really going to help me in my future career as a scientist. I learned how to design CRISPR experiments from scratch and about a lot of the different bioinformatics pipelines and tools that are out there. So, for someone who doesn't have a background in that, it was tricky because you get exposed to a lot of the different tools out there, and that can be overwhelming. And there's a lot of problem solving, trial and error, and doing things that I had never done before in the projects that we had to make as part of the class. But you walk away learning how to navigate, finding the tools that are out there. You may not know the answers to your questions in science, but after walking away from that class, you know, like what the process is of trying to find what you need to answer those questions. And I think establishing that in an introductory course is really important because that's the kind of skill that's going to set you up for success long term in your career, whether you work in industry at some of the local pharmaceutical companies like Thermo Fisher, AstraZeneca, or if you do work in research. So I'm glad that I pushed through the challenge of that class because it has helped me really develop the skills that, for me, hoping to get into a PhD in a research lab, they're in need of these skills that Hood taught me.
Hmm. Yeah. And I was gonna ask you more in deep about the skills. Like you mentioned some specifically from that class, but can you share a little bit more of skills that you gain through this program?
Yeah, so I really enjoyed how a lot of what I learned was more applied. I think sometimes when you come out of undergrad, you learn the fundamentals, but it's hard to learn about how science is actually used in real life, what's actually going on in pharmaceutical companies, in research, and I like that Hood made that focus of what it is actually like. Um, Besides learning about bioinformatics and how to design CRISPR, which is a big tool used these days in research, I took a biostatistics class where we learned how to program in R. And not many researchers are comfortable with R and with statistics. So I am going to walk into any lab having a huge leg up. And another really critical area that I learned about was ethics in science. I took an ethics in science class, and it covered what the different regulations are. It covered historical ethical violations, and it developed a mindset of how you approach research topics in an ethical way and how you comply with the standards that are set by many institutions to maintain ethical research. So, overall, the skills that I did learn, knowing that my goal was to get education and experience that would help me feel PhD ready. All of these skills that I learned at Hood definitely are making me be PhD ready.
Nice. What was your favorite part of being a part of Hood College community?
Definitely the community and the people. Um, since it is such a small school, the class sizes are pretty small. So you're able to make a lot of connections with professors that you might not be able to make if you went to a bigger school. And every single professor is very open to doing whatever they can to help you be successful in the classroom and in the career. And these professors have a lot of connections to different institutions, and they know a lot about things that you might be interested about in your career aspirations and goals. So it was really nice to be able to make those connections from day one and to know that even though the program is difficult and grad school in general is difficult, that the professors have your back and they're there to help you succeed.
Mhm. The question that I always ask in this podcast is about the balance, because we all know how hard it is to balance our personal life with the professional and academical life. So, how you do it, or what are the tools you use to do that, and how that looks in your life?
Yeah, so um I worked full time and I also went to school full time, and it's important to mention not everyone does that. The biomedical science program at Hood is designed for people who are busy working adults. They're working a full-time job. Maybe they have to travel across the country as part of their job. They have families, they have children. So most people in the program might be taking one or two classes. Regardless of how many classes you take, I definitely think you have to be very organized from day one so you don't fall behind. Make sure that at the beginning you come up with some sort of organization system, like a planner or a calendar to keep track of your deadlines, and always give yourself more time than you think you'll need when it comes to studying or assignments, just because the classes are challenging, but you wouldn't grow if they weren't challenging. So just make sure from day one that you have some sort of organizational system that works best for you.
Hmm, I take that. What advice would you give to students who are thinking about studying biomedical science at Hood College?
Yeah, so being organized is definitely number one, but you also have to know your reason for pursuing the master's degree and pursuing higher education in general, and that you have to have like a deep conversation with yourself. Are you doing this for a promotion at your job? Does your job provide tuition reimbursement and you'd like to maybe take a class or two per semester? Do you want to make a career change and this program seems like the perfect fit? Are you like me and you were drawn to this program so you could prepare for a PhD? Or do you want to go to another professional school like medical school, dental school, something like that? Make sure that you really critically think and reflect on what is your goal. And then when you are taking the classes, when things get tough, remind yourself of that goal so you have the finish line in mind. And also build a support system early on because I don't think this is something you can really do alone. Grad school is very tough and stressful, and you need people in your life, whether it's family, friends, coworkers, anyone who knows what you're doing and knows what it's like. For me, I would always call my mom when I was driving home after class to talk to her about interesting things that I learned or how I felt about a test that I took. And that was helpful just to feel connected to other people. Also, part of being organized is making time for yourself. Don't neglect your hobbies. You're going to be very busy with your professional day-to-day life, with going to classes at Hood, but you have to make time for yourself or else you'll burn out, and no one wants that.
Hmm. How has this program shaped your confidence as a scientist and how this is building your identity?
Yeah, so I feel like going to Hood really did help me meet my goal. My goal was to get a graduate level education that would help me feel prepared to start a PhD program. And I do feel PhD ready. I'm currently working on applying to PhD programs to start next fall. And when I'm talking to professors to see if their research interests me, we talk about the classes that I took at Hood and we talk about the skills that I've learned, and they're always impressed. They say that I'm ready. So I really do attribute my success so far to Hood. I wouldn't have felt confident enough to apply to PhD programs if I hadn't taken the classes that I did, if I hadn't had the professors that I've had who have cheered me on, who have reminded me that I can do this and I have what it takes to be successful. I'm not gonna say I walked out being like an expert in science and I don't have all the answers, but the coursework that I took has given me the knowledge to know how to find the answers and to know how to further develop my skills. And I think that's helpful for anyone.
Hearing you is very inspiring. I really am enjoying this conversation. Um, and if you could describe your Hood College experience in one sentence or phrase, what will you say?
My phrase would be small school, big impact. There's so many programs out there, so many schools that you could go to. You could go to a big name school with a big name price tag for the prestige, but the quality of education and the quality and compassion of the professors at Hood, you can't put a price tag on that. So it's small school. Not a lot of people know about Frederick, about Hood, but it does really make a big impact in everyone's life that goes through the program.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know if there is anything else that you would like to add to this conversation.
I feel like I have nothing but positive things to say about Hood. I know whenever someone is considering grad school, it's very intimidating and it can be very scary because graduate school is not like undergraduate education. It is a lot more difficult and it asks a lot more out of you sometimes. But I would definitely recommend Hood to anyone because of the amazing people that do work for the college and who are teaching the classes. you are going to really grow a lot in the program, and you'll make connections that will set you up for success. I think the recognition that I've had from the professors and from the Department of Biology has really set me up. The professors that I've taken classes with are the same professors that are writing me letters of recommendation for my PhD applications and who have nominated me for scholarships at Hood. So people at Hood have your back, and I think that's the number one thing that you need to be successful in grad school is to have that support. You can put in the time and study and get the grades, but you need that support, and you do have it at Hood.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I wish you the best luck with everything in your future. It sounds like you're very passionate about this field, so I'm glad to have people like you. And thank you for taking some time to meet with me and for all these inspiring words. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Mariana. It was an honor and a privilege to be able to talk about my background and my experience, and hopefully attract more people to the program because I think it's a really amazing and innovative program.
I think that too. Thank you so much for listening to A Degree Further, the official podcast of the graduate school at Hood College, where we help you go farther in your life, in your career, and in your community. Be sure to tune in next time and to catch up on all the latest episodes. Visit hood.edu/a degree further. I'm your host, Mariana, and thank you so much for listening.